Mga higala, kumusta? Welcome to another episode of the Chyrel Macale Cariaga show. And of course, we're live at our digital TV analog channel 51. We're also live at Parasat or Jade cable TV. That is channel 27, 28, and 29. And of course, we're also live at DEARBC analog channel 19 and DEARBC channel 2. And of course, we're also live at our FB page, Jao TV 51_ official. And of course, you could also see us live at our YouTube channel, that is Jao TV 51_ official. Let's take a recap. Within the weeks of his inauguration as President of the Philippines in June 2016, Rodrigo Roa Duterte became the most internationally known Filipino leader since Ferdinand Marcos, the country's infamous dictator, and Corazon Aquino, the iconic housewife turned president who championed the restoration of democracy in 1986. A great deal of media attention has been paid to Duterte's murderous war on drugs, as well as on his often crass and controversial statements. His embrace of China and his visceral disdain in the United States has garnered additional attention in foreign policy circles. And he frequently is included in media reports and scholarly articles in the rise of populism globally. Although the attention to Duterte and his brutal drug war is warranted, much less attention has been paid to his administration's broader policy agenda, its approach to politics and governance, and its broader impact on democratic institutions and norms. As a candidate, Duterte promised that he would produce real rapid improvements in the lives of Filipinos, particularly by aggressively addressing crime and corruption. 2.5 years in his presidency, it is both warranted and possible to assess that has not changed under Duterte. The picture is a mixed one, with elements of change, continuity, regression. Now let's talk about his administration's accomplishments. Let's give him a score and how is he as president. To give his own evaluation and assessment, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former IBP, of course, President. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Attorney Carlo B. Almirante. Hello, Carlo. Hello, Attorney. How are you? Yes. So let's talk about, you know, it's not undeniable that you have been campaigning for the Duterte administration, because we wanted to know why you believe in Duterte's administration.
As far as I can remember, Ma'am Chai, since 2014, when I was Dean of the College of Law of Liceo, I invited him as our testimonial for the bar passers.
Okay.
We usually have the traditional testimonial dinners, and we invite guests. At that time, I was also contemplating on inviting then Senator Marcos, but I opted to have President Duterte because he was a mayor, he was a former prosecutor, was former legislature, as vice mayor, and at the same time as congressman. So, and he was a lawyer, a practicing lawyer. So, who else is better to be invited than no other than PRID himself, and coming from Mindanao, and we have been longing to have a president from Mindanao.
Right.
So, I have been a follower of President Digong because I know he loves Cagayan de Oro. I know one of his visiting areas is in Cagayan de Oro. When he tires of Davao, comes here with his bike and all that. Yeah, ever since I was in high school, I've been hearing about him and his exploits. He's a very good man, and he's a very good public servant. That's why I've been a follower of him. So by the time when he ran for the presidency, we were not just more than happy. In fact, now most of my students who have passed the bar are volunteers for the Duterte and the Marcos candidacy. And for me, he has shown a great deal of genuine public service in his 6 years. In fact, we can see that, and we can feel that, and we can you can see that before those who are following him.
Right.
The love, the passion to even wanting for him to continue with his term.
Right.
You cannot discount the opposition.
Right.
There will always be an opposition. In fact, the results now is 31 million both for Marcos and for BBM and VP Sara, 31 million. They got both 31 million, right? Then in the last elections in 2016, BBM got 14 million and Robredo also got 14 million. And Robredo won by a vote of 150,000 only.
You're right.
Yeah, so, and you add that to Duterte's 16 million in 2016. That's 30 million.
Right.
Plus 1 million new followers, that's 31 million. It
Right.
shows, it reflects.
It
Not
is
only with the survey,
Right.
but the actual count. And when you talk of COMELEC issues like, they've been trying to tell us about issues like questioning the integrity of the election returns. Well, now they're actually conducting a random manual survey
Right.
and counting before the Supreme Court, represented by no less than justices and all others from the IBP and all other organizations. And they will, when you say random, you can check out if there were discrepancies.
Yes. Attorney Carlo, do you think this is the sound of democracy?
We always have been buying and telling about democracy. And me, as I've been teaching constitutional law for the past 10 years, and this is democracy at its best.
Because, you know, there are casted doubts about it because, you know, the vote buying is actually in our midst, and it's undeniable. You know, people are being bought by their right and their integrity. And the suffrage, actually, in our country is already in shambles. And number one, we should also consider that it's not to deny, but it is in our midst that it is a norm. It is a norm for the last 30 years.
Sometimes.
And the only way that you cannot deny the suffrage of the people and the integrity and, of course, the integrity of the ballots is when you win by landslide.
Yeah, they always, as I've said, the opposition will always try to question. That's why we've been asking to have a unification of, you know, of these ideals, but, you know, the acceptance will take time.
Yes.
But when you talk of democracy, there is this one in Washington D.C. Near the Vietnam area. I mean the Vietnam War park in Washington D.C. There is this what you call freedom is not free. That's actually the essence of democracy. Well, we have freedom, but in democracy, we have to have rules. We have to have these laws that we follow. It's not total. Otherwise, if you just say democracy just like that, and I can talk, I can say anything I want, then what? It's okay if you're not the one being, it's not against you. But what if it's against you? Then now you complain.
Right.
Right? So, that's why we have rules, we have laws, and then this is democracy.
Right.
This is just like what we're doing now. We're talking. And even during the martial law years, of course, it was the worst time of even not only for us. The thing is, we have been taught that we were the only ones who have been having problems at that time. You don't know that in 1980s, in the early 80s, U.S. was so down. Their economy was not well, and they were having problems with the Cold War.
Yes.
And then it's not only us. There was Malaysia, there was Indonesia, in Asia.
Globally.
That's why, but we feel, we Filipinos, we feel that we're the only ones having this problem. And we should, that's what the Filipinos later on found out when everybody was going around the world. And they found out, no, we're not the only ones having problems. Because this is the time when most Filipinos are outside, OFWs and all. That's why also we would like to thank Senator Bongo and President Duterte. You know how the OFWs love them. And it's one showcase of how Duterte administration has been addressing this.
And within your statements that, you know, all of these students that you had, and even volunteers as lawyers and all of these volunteers for the Duterte administration has been there, it's because of the earned trust. And you think the trust and confidence was given to the Duterte administration, it's because of the way his track record is in Davao. You know, within this iron fist hand, that, you know, if you will not strike within the law and being strict about it, people will not be disciplined. And on the streets, well, we'll have chaos, and we'll still have a lot of resounding insurgency. It's because if we will not create, you know, an iron fist to really discipline the hand of the people.
Actually, for me, during the martial law time, it was just they just felt that democracy was being curtailed and all. But actually, martial law, it was passed by Congress.
Yeah.
It's not just President Marcos.
The true, and it will be yes, exactly, and it has to be improved by the legislature, the legislation, and everybody has to.
And then at that time, we had the Muslim insurgency.
Yeah.
We had the communist. Coming in with their mightiest population at the time. I think they were 20,000 at the time, and they were supported by whoever, Asha, and then. So imagine that if we had that now. The good thing is President Duterte and the past presidents, we give credit to them, especially PGM also, the economic. We were the only ones who did not really had a problem during the Asian economic because of our president then, PGM, and we should give credit to her because we do not see that we do not hear that from the media and all because of afterwards she was toppled down and all, just like President Marcos. If he had not the order approved the martial law, then or declared the martial law after being passed by Congress, approved by Congress also, then we don't know. We could have we could be communist right now. It would be so down that we could not.
And people will always revolt.
People always have this way of revolting, but that's why we have laws. In fact, Shakespeare was the one who said, "If you take out all the lawyers, then there will be anarchy."
Yes, that's right. And that is to really avoid anarchy. I think that is the one best way to not to provoke it and to eventually suppress it. Because if we will not declare these laws, it is the right and the suffrage of the people that will be trampled down. And that's why certain laws are being placed. And the only power of the president can do that and exercise for it.
In fact, we always look at the president as the most powerful. No. For me, under the Constitution, the most powerful is the barangay captain. Why? He is both. He is altogether the judiciary. He is the legislative, as the head of the Lupon. He's the head of the barangay legislative, and then he is the executive. He is the only one who got three powers in one position, the barangay captain. And we should start with that. With you media, respectable media, you should start with that. Coming elections for December, we should be telling them that it's just not like a family matter and all, that you are electing somebody who is so powerful.
Right, right. So, Attorney Carlo, as a lawyer, I know that you have also your opinions expressing these thoughts, especially on his engagement, especially in his war on drugs. There were a lot of criticism that it was just too much, so murderous that the rights of the people have been really crushed, and that the international media has been displacing him or displacing himself as a dictator himself. What can you say about this? What is your opinion about
the war on drugs?
In the war on drugs.
I have a 23 years old. I have a 20 years old. You know that. And I am so happy for the past 6 years that I can just let them go out, and I don't have to worry about drugs. During our time, it's everywhere. In high school, when I was in high school, in college, I could hear I have friends who have been. I even have classmates now who have been calling me, asking for my help because now they are in jail. And when we talk, I said, I could not expect you. Like I never expected this. I said, oh no, me too. I could not explain to myself why I come into this. Maybe because of the community and all. But now, I can walk. I can go out at night and tell I'm secured. I don't know, but this is actually the result of a good implementation of the drug war. Just like the 1980s, the Cold War era, when military tried to attack and help them, and then there were some casualties, they would blame it to the military. You do not blame it to the communists. The NPAs, they kill more because just a thought, just an inkling, and just the chismis that you are insider and apologies of the red. No, the Reds. If they can hear you within the barangays that you are helping the military, giving info,
I agree.
Even your family, and nobody reports that because even reporting it will get the ire of the NPAs. And that's why they always say that the martial law regime was so high casualty and all, and they blame it all to the military. No, the military cannot ask for that because it's their job. But the families of the military men and all who lost, who died during these times, we do not even think about them. We always just say the casualty and all. But remember, who are these people who have been jailed and all? They claim that they were activists and all.
Attorney Carlo, as I've understood that you have came to know the president personally. About
President?
Yeah, the president. Have you known him the way he is as a president?
I'm just a follower of him, but I know some of his. I am a friend to some of his
cabinets.
Trusted, but I don't know him. I don't talk to him
personally.
But I'm just a follower. I'm just a
anyway,
fan of his
works. So in the past 6 years, and his administration is about to end, and it's very sad that everyone is so disappointed about it, that his decision was not able to pursue, his dedication and commitment to continue the Duterte, legacy. But the thing is, there were so many doubts and there were so many confusions of the people that why did the president didn't run for presidency again, or he didn't refuse to run for vice president, and then all of a sudden we have heard about Bongo replacing him for presidency, and then withdrawn again, and then Bato was in place. This were a lot of confusion, and there was really no concrete decision of who the president is endorsing. Even if the refusal of him getting into office, and there were a lot of controversies, with Sara Duterte's running as vice president, and that the president have given way to his daughter to run for the vice presidency, and there are a lot of confusion to that. So can you give us your insight and opinion why these things happen?
First, President Duterte, remember, he's a master tactician. He's a politician. His father is a governor, and his mother is a school principal. And you have that the parents, and you have a governor father and a teacher. Imagine the brilliance of this man. That's why he became this one, and he became a president. Now, going back to that thing, why I'm just so proud of him. In fact, to the end, he did not endorse his president. He did not endorse a candidate. Although we all have our hints that Sarah, of course, he said, my daughter, why would I not endorse? But for the presidency, why? Because he wants to impart to all of us, and he wants to start this culture that the president leaving his position should be like a father looking at his children. I don't choose among you, you choose among yourself.
I like that. And aside from that, I think it also within his credibility and of course his trust in the suffrage of the people, because he actually have given the freedom of the people to vote for the presidency. And it should be the opinion of the people, and democracy should reign supreme.
These are things that we should be thankful of coming from the president. He has nothing to ask. You know me, I'll tell you, when you talk of public service, I strongly believe that no candidate who seeks to win, seeks for the vote of the people, his intentions is to abuse, to cause, to corrupt or to steal from. I don't think so. No candidate. No. And to enrich himself, no. I think all candidates, all the president and the senators and all, even the mayors and all, I believe that in their heart, they really want to serve. I don't think there is one there who will run just because his intention is to enrich himself. The problem there now is when you are in that position, those people around you, because public service, you can serve the public even if you're not in position.
Right.
But you know, asking and putting yourself in under the direct limelight, just to run, just to serve, and then your intention is just to enrich yourself. I don't think so. There is no candidate, I believe, me, because I was 5 years old when my mother first ran for mayor, and I saw that. I've seen that, and they've been telling me, "Why don't you run? Why don't you run?" So, no, I know what public service. You have to have that passion, and you have to seek it within your heart. If
It's
you
a
really
commitment.
It's a commitment, and it's not about. The problem there is you talk about how to finance your campaign and all. So
That's not even important.
So what's important is if you can run and you can tell what you want, and then if you lose, then support the winning candidate.
31 million resounding votes have been casted, both from the presidency and the vice presidency. And people are still doubting that they've been cheated on, and I don't think that is what is happening right now. Within the 31 million backing up with the presidency and won by landslide. And there are still a probability, and people still think, the supporters been thinking that they were cheated on, and it's impossible because can you imagine 31 million people voting for one president, and it's half, the difference between the votes of the other party and of course the presidency now. It's beyond the understanding of some supporters that they could not comprehend what landslide is all about.
You cannot blame them. They have been working so hard. You give time. It's
for their
a matter of
acceptance,
time to accept that. And sometimes people just so they continue, they file protests and all, but they know it's futile and all. But just to continue and to show to their supporters that hey, I'm not leaving you. I'm still here. I'm filing a protest, whatever. But I think nobody's filing a protest as of now. I haven't heard from the other party that they're filing. Even in the local candidates, I can hear they don't want.
It's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time, and it's going to take a lot of years.
And there's basis on the 31 million.
You're right.
As I said, I told you before. The surveys have shown it. 62%, 58%. It shows.
Yeah.
And it's not one survey. We have a survey that has been doing this and consistent on its reports since Estrada time. In the presidency, they have been showing it. The data, they have been showing it. And now, if you remember, as I've said, Marcos got 14 million in 2016. Robredo got 14 million. And Duterte got 16 million. You add the 16 and the 14. That's
all
what
together.
they got now.
Yeah, that's all together.
Then
Yes.
plus so additional maybe 1 million new followers. That's 31 million. Hey, both president and vice president have 31 million. It can be seen like that.
Yes. So this
But you cannot blame the opposition.
Yes,
They can say
yes,
anything they
yes.
want under the sun.
Yes.
As long as they don't show any, untoward, they won't. Yung mga rebellious na mga start again, trouble and all, then that's another issue.
Yes,
that's for
yes,
the police
yes.
to address.
Yeah, there's another issue that I wanted to throw to you. I wanted to get your opinion on this, that there are some, strikingly, there are so many issues in the president's cabinet, and they were appointed by the president, but still we have realized that these cabinets were not really as we expected them to be, because the president has the integrity, the honesty, and there are still some cabinets that have really thrown the name of the president to the ground, especially with the corruption issues and all that. What is your opinion on that? Why do you think that even if this cabinets were appointed, they still have the the capacity or the audacity to really do such thing within the corruption against the president?
I'm sorry, but I cannot join you with that opinion, because as far as I have been informed and as far as I know, these are alter egos of the president. These cabinet members are alter egos of the president, and they have been, for me, they have been doing their job well. I'm sorry.
On your opinion?
That's my opinion.
Yeah, yes.
They have been doing their job well, and as you can see, our economy, it's up to 8.5%. The next for us is I think Singapore 5, and then even Malaysia and Thailand did not declare yet, but they're way below us. We're 8.5 at the end of a president's term. That shows, because it is a team. They are a team. The build projects, and all, and you can always think of something that you can accuse the government of, just for whatever, with spite and all. But it's so easy to say. It's so easy to say, but unless you can show what proof you have that there is really this kind of corruption and all, then as I've said, this is democracy. You can say anything and all, but you have to prove it. Otherwise, you're liable for whatever. There's somebody here doing his job, not sleeping anymore. I understand these secretaries, they really find it hard to sleep because they'll be working a lot. Imagine if the president has no secretaries, he would be doing every day.
The economy right now, as you can see, especially with the oil price hikes, has been affecting a lot of transport groups. They are dying and to plea for the government to actually control these oil prices, and it's been affecting our economy all at the same time. Now, my suggestion was, if you will agree with me, there were some senatorial bills that came over here in the city, and in fact, I've opened it up to them that why, since in the time immemorial, that we didn't have the thought about having some oil banks in every region so that it will provide for the subsidy of these needs. But in fact, on the times of the oil crisis, I was also suggesting that maybe we could freeze the excise tax at that time, because we're getting on the difficult times, and the crisis was there because of the pandemic. And the more that the economy is actually crashing, I was also suggesting that it should be in place that every region should have this oil banks in order for us to really be confident enough to subsidize the needs of the people. So are you in agreement with that, in case if this new government is going to be in place? Should you agree that each region should have, because Malaysia is just right there, we could have a strong agreement with them for them to provide for our oil, and that oil can actually help us, control the price market and enable for our people to actually do something that can help them, fight for this crisis right now. So what do you think?
When you talk of petroleum, it's a very complex matter. You need a specialist, but in my opinion, I could go back in time to tell you how petroleum has been controlling not only the Philippines, not only Southeast Asia, even the world.
Yes, I
petroleum
understand.
industry and the pharmaceutical industry. And if you go back to history, then again I will be going back to Marcos, and you have to allow me, because remember PNOC? Remember PNOC? There was a subsidized. Marcos was trying to put up this fund, which when PNOC was sold to Petron, was privatized during Cory's time.
Yes,
this fund, we don't know where it goes. That was supposed to be a fund in case there is a worldwide increase of petroleum prices. That fund will subsidize it. That's the same as what you call a bank, oil banks and all. And remember, that was why Marcos had really had a hard time during his time, because as I've said, we're not only talking about the communists. insurgency. You don't talk about, also talk about the Muslim, and you also talk about the poverty, and at that time the opposition. But what we forget is Marcos was trying to get back at Sabah, because Sabah, remember Petronas Tower? Look at what's Petronas.
Yes,
Petronas because
exactly.
It was Malaysia. It was Malaysia. You can correct me if you think, but my history is, but this is what I have been reading since 20. So I've been a Marcos follower also, aside from being a Duterte follower, because when Marcos was trying to get back at Sabah to take it, because that's one of the oil producing.
Correct.
And we know that it was owned by the Sulu, and then Sulu is a part of the Philippines. And then when the British made Malaysia independent, they gave it to Malaysia. So why would you give it to Malaysia when you just list it? You should return it to the owner.
Correct.
That was why Marcos was trying to get it back. Now Malaysia, of course, will try everything so as not for the Philippines to get it back. So they funded all these Muslim insurgencies under this, because Malaysia is a Muslim country. So they tried to get it back so that the Philippines could not even get hold of an oil. Now they started with the Malampaya. Marcos started it, but it was later on converted, and then Macapagal. And then, as I've said, petroleum is a very complicated, and if we are going to go back, Marcos was really, President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. have been eyeing and looking forward to having us a stable oil. But the world petroleum industry is much more powerful than that.
And then I think you have heard, recently with the owner of Petron, again expressing his interest in selling Petron back to the government, and in fact, he is also willing, even on the agreement of 5 years terms for them, or for the government to actually acquire. Would you agree on this? If that will be decided for, if the Petron will be going back to the government's hands?
The issue is, do we have the source? Because at that time, what President Marcos was trying to get was the source, where we can get our oil. The only one we have is Malampaya, which is a natural gas. So whatever will happen, we still are dependent on the world price. We cannot demand our own price, because what the world petroleum says, this is the price.
They control it. They control it. Yes.
We do not control it. No president can control it, except when Marcos tried to have that fund. So at least when the price go up, we have that fund. When it's say 14 pesos per liter here, and the world price goes 20, at least there's that fund to make it like just 15, not go to 20.
Correct.
That was one of the buffers that they never talk about it, right? And I talk about it with my students and all, maybe enlighten them. In fact, in our constitution, in the 1987 constitution, under chapter 2 national territory, one that was taken out, I heard that what was taken out was the all other territories which we have historical value. It was stricken out because that is where we get our right for Sabah. And when the 1987 constitution was approved, they have to take that out. The question is why? Nobody would question that. Everybody was so elated with the EDSA people power. And then nobody would. But that was one of the very vital instrument for our right to claim Sabah.
Right.
We took it out.
Yeah, I've studied that, and actually it was just a disappointment to all of the Filipinos, because this could not happen to the Philippines now, clamoring for some solutions and, crying out to the president or the administration that we will be able to actually survive, because our transport groups right now are actually crying for help, and that they're not able to really support the families. In fact, they're not thriving. Kung atong tanawon karon the way it is, the transport groups are actually not able to sustain their livelihood because of this. And it's not only them, but there are so many things that have been affected. But I am just very happy about the economy in the region, that it has been it's been robust. The agriculture that we have in Bukidnon are still, we're still acting as the basin and the food basin of the country, and it still provides. Even the prices of our rice right now is being controlled. And it's just one good thing that it's being controlled now, but we should have given a sustainability program for this, that in order in the future, there should be control in all of this. Not only within the prices of the commodities, but this oil price that has been affecting the economy as well.
The oil price always controls everything. But the good thing now is we have wind power, and I think the incoming president, President Bongbong Marcos, will enhance these projects on windmills, power, and then the solar. So we just won't be too dependent on the oil. We always have this thinking that the oil, when you talk of oil, it's these cars and these jeepneys and the buses that controls the oil. No, this is only 20% of the demand. The 80% goes to the industries. So that's why, again, I go back to Marcos, and you say, hey, he's a Marcos fanatic. No, I'm just talking sense here, that during Marcos regime, just to do away with the control of petroleum, he built all these dams and Agos, the Maria Cristina, and all. So at least we
even power plants.
And the power plant, because it's the marketing in the industries that demands more.
Right.
In fact, the factories and all, they don't get it. They just get, they make this power from Sipalco and all, just a subsidy. But they have their own generators. And what you feed with generators? You feed it with fuel.
Correct.
So you buy oil, The oil demand in our is just around 80%. That's why when Marcos was fighting for the nuclear power plant, it would take out at least 40% of the demand. So you know how much is that? What effect is that to the petroleum industry if the Philippines will no longer get 100%, will only buy from them 60% oil? That would
mean a lot.
Mean trillions. You don't talk about billions. You talk about trillions in revenue loss from them.
Right.
That's why, as much as possible, they don't want the nuclear power plant to open in 1986. In Singapore, they only have their LRT in 1987. We had ours in 1984. It was supposed to open in 1983, but you know what happened in 1983? Somebody died. So there was some, and then by 1984, Marcos said, I will have to go on with the LRT, even if the nuclear power plant is not there, because that was supposed to be the one that the Bataan nuclear power plant was supposed to be the one to power the LRT. In Meralco, the R there is railroad.
Attorney
No,
Carlo,
the word Meralco,
yes.
the R there is railroad.
Attorney
It's
Carlo,
not
let
supposed
me
to be the one to power LRT in Metro Manila, and that's part. But the world, I don't know, the powers in the world outside the Philippines don't want us. They want us to be dependent so much on them.
Attorney Carlo, do you believe in the Marcos integrity? And of course, may I ask you, what are you expecting in the new administration now with Ferdinand Marcos Jr. as the president in place?
I am having goosebumps, but I'm so.
Yes. In your honest opinion,
we have one person who is the best to lead us now, that would be Marcos Jr., because he is one person whose only commitment is to vindicate the name. And he will do everything.
In his
he will
power.
do the best in his power to make it sure that in the next 6 years, we will deliver.
Yes.
Because
if he will not deliver, the people will crucify him.
and we have one here who is in this new world.
Yes.
Because the Marcos regime was in the former world when there was the World War, Cold War, Russia was there, the communists, and all. Now communists is not there actually. It's just being funded by, I believe, some. They make money out of extortion and all, and that's how they make money before. Now, the good thing now is that we are in a, I would say we are in a new and modern era.
Yes.
And I am looking forward for the next 6 years with our agriculture. I tell you, agriculture, everybody's so excited to be in agriculture, even workers and all, because they have their family farms back in the provinces, and they're more than excited.
Do you think the 20 peso kilo of rice is as possible to achieve? As he promised
even
the
below
country.
20 pesos, I believe, because we have the capacity to produce.
Okay.
We just didn't look at it. And when this the good thing about this is Marcos know about this because he was trained by the father. He has this mindsetting of how we started Masagana. When I went to Thailand,
I remember
25 years
yes,
ago,
yes.
23 years ago.
Yes.
I talked with the doctors there, and they said, I went to Los Baños. We studied in Los Baños, and they were the ones now being so happy with their products and all in Thailand, in Vietnam, and they all studied in Los Baños. Imagine that we taught them, and now we're the ones. So no question about our capacity,
right?
Even below 20,
okay.
I believe that.
So 9 minutes after 10 o'clock right now, and of course we are going to ask you the score. Because you know, how do you rate the president's administration of the Duterte? You know, from 1 to 10, how do you score the president?
For me,
yes, for you,
I would say 9 to 10.
Okay, so a perfect score.
Yeah.
And coming from you, I think you have learned, you know, being a lawyer, and you know the slopes, and you know.
I'm from the academe. I'm
Yes.
proud of that, and you know. As I've said, I don't believe in any candidate whose intention is to enrich,
Yes.
to abuse, to steal, whatever. Everybody has the best intention for public service. That's why we have to support them. We have to inspire them to do their best for us.
Okay. I think that goes with your opinion, and of course we've gotten all, and we've your point of view and why you supported the Duterte administration and believes in the integrity of the Marcoses now being the new president of the country. And as presumptive as it is, it's already winning by landslide, and I think he's going to be appointed very, very soon, and he will be oath within a week or this week. And we are very proud of that, because the people has actually spoken.
Maybe before month end.
Yes.
Maybe
So,
before month end.
The people have spoken already, and we cannot deny that. And the only way that we could do right now is that we'll incapacitate the people to actually give the trust and confidence to the new government now.
Did you know that before I forget, before we close, the 150,000 lead of Robredo, then they have both a 14 million plus, and Robredo led around 150,000. But did you know that there was a 400,000 votes, I think somewhere in Maguindanao or what, for governor, that was declared null and void by the Supreme Court, and it was the president there was Leni Robredo. However, Marcos could not avail of it.
Yes.
So it was that the time was so near, and no need to pursue it,
Right.
because he was not a party, then it was about the governor. But that governor was declared, the votes for that governor was declared null and void. That was 400,000 votes, and the president there was Leni. Imagine if that was availed of by Marcos, then Marcos would have won the vice presidency.
Yes, that's true.
It would be the other way around.
But there you, Carlo, thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate it, because it was such a pleasure you discussing about these matters at hand. And of course, there are a lot of people listening right now all over northern Mindanao. Has been, you know, you have shed light with what happened from the past, even the Marcoses, you have to learn about them because you were a professor, and of course at the same time the dean of the College of Law of the Liceo University, which I came from. Of course, I'm very proud of that, and of course your opinions is being expressed is actually appreciated, and thank you very much for gracing
I
the
welcome.
show.
I welcome opposition to that also. That's
Yes.
democracy.
Yes, yes. Whatever they say, they also have their opinion to be expressed,
Yeah, of
right?
course,
So,
of course.
to all our televiewers right now, to all the 24 municipalities in the Samars Oriental, of course, 2 component cities, that is El Salvador City and Hong City, of course, the 80 barangays of Cagayan de Oro City. I would like to thank you all for tuning in right now, and of course, I would like to express my gratitude to all of you and to all of that. To all of the candidates that won, congratulations to all of you, from the gubernatorial race down to the congressional, and of course to our councils that are in place and being elected by the people. It is the strong will of the people that have elected you. So perform and actually give your dedication and pure intention, regardless of the people's prosecution. And sometimes people expect too much from you. You just have to deliver. I think that's the most important thing. Now we are very excited because on December 5, 2022, election will be in place again in the barangay level. So we're very excited about that. Another role of brutal election again, because people are going to side whoever their political party is, and that's going to be the game of democracy. So to all of you out there, to our televiewers, always remember this, that do not ask for what the government can do for you, but always ask for what you can do for the government. Now let's always help and fight corruption. This has been your host, Chyrel Cariaga, for the Chyrel Cariaga Show. Until next time, until Saturday between 9 to 10 in the morning with the Chyrel Cariaga Show. Have a blessed day to all of you. Thank you very much.